They're here. Rob, I found that to be a less than pleasant drive.
I'm gonna need a massage.
I can't. Let's see it. Yep, that's a drill press. So this is basically what, one from Harbor Freight? That's a beefy boy.
Bro,
1.5 horsepower?
we make horsepower over here, bro.
Anthony's been helping massively, especially today, getting this drill press here. So we decided to give him exactly 13.3 seconds to promote what he's doing. You guys ready?
My name's Anthony. I stream on Twitch. I'm a Fortnite nerd. My name's Thick Daddy Issa. You know the vibes.
Yeah, too long already, bro. You wasted your time with.
When I noticed it was a jet, I noticed you were going for a theme there.
I told you I like to match.
WD-40? I do have WD-40. Frank, get this man the WD-40. So much prettier. Oh boy. You press the button, I'm not pressing the button.
That's kind of what I'm scared of.
Isaiah's working on bending tube right now. What you see here is a fat ass radiator and a fat ass thick with 2 C's intercooler. This intercooler is much, much larger than the 3 rotors, and we all know that worked pretty damn well. Clearance issue from the shocks were never meant to be this far out on the front of the car. The design was actually much more tucked in. And of course, the springs themselves hit the back of the radiator fan. So we got a lower profile radiator fan. But this could be one of those, not show-stopping issues, but kind of, is that that's only 1,000 CFM, where the fan I had originally designed for that was over 2,000, over 9,000. You didn't say anything, over 9,000. You're the anime fan. We've swapped the intercooler and radiator upside down because we're gonna do something really fascinating with the 20 AN lines. We sat and stared at this for hours, and we got a sick solution. The tube is gonna come from down here, wrap around, all the way around here, and then go back up. We're gonna put these 2 brakes in right there, so we can take the whole front cooling system off and then put it onto the stand over there. That is going to require some weird tube angle coming from there and then going out. And then we're going to add basically the mustache, each of the side pieces that reinforce the bottom of the bumper. You can already tell there is not a lot of space. I'm going to reintroduce these pieces back onto the channel only because it's been about a year. These are extremely important. Of course, these are the rear wheels, these are the front wheels. There's 2 of these in the front, 2 of those in the back. This is my saving grace. If you guys are ever working on cars, look at that part number. This is the rear wheel of a Corvette ZR1, and the reason it's so important to me is it is the wheel bearing for those rear wheels. It's beefy, it's a great piece to start a custom project with. It's got the bearing, that's the whole point of it, and the wheel speed sensor. So all 4 wheels have a wheel speed sensor. I was missing one of those. I bought one off of Amazon that was cheap and Chinese. This one is made from Korea. It's close enough, I guess. It's the beefy, correct one. That is seated well, and then you put the nut on there. This, being the front wheel, fits like such. So I had to get another one of these, another front wheel one, and it's lightened. They took this material out of the middle, and then I got a couple bolts just to make sure these all connect into each other. When you take an axle out, you normally have rubber over most of this, and you just take that part off, and then boom, take that out of the wheel, and then that starts happening. That's why there's rubber and whatnot, is to prevent it from moving so far that it pops open. I then had to go and get 2 of the rear wheel ones, because I've been avoiding this for a while. What you're seeing here can all be bought at CarTech, and this stuff runs about, what you see here, only 4, you need 8, is about $1,400, give or take. These are the bigger ones, but they're also lightened. I noticed that they had lightened ones, and the reason that matters is this is spinning as soon as you start spinning your tires. This is rotating mass, and part of it is unsprung mass. It travels with the wheel. And you want this to be as lightweight or light mass as possible while being also as strong as possible. This will connect like that. All of this is all hidden right by the wheel. You see the beautiful Vossen wheels, but this is the magic that's turning those into power. So I got 2 of those, plus more bolts for those, because Monday in comes the guys to install the carbon fiber drive shafts and carbon fiber axles. So I had to get all of this to the correct pieces. The axle actually has to sit right there. This plunging action is meant for give and take. You can't just have it at the extreme here and then bottom out and you slam into the metal. This is a cup is because the end of this stub axle that goes through here has to have room to move like that. Poor Isaiah made one simple mistake, basically twice, but it's okay. It's okay. Isaiah's beating himself up, and he doesn't need to. You've got lines as to where you're gonna start your bend, and if you put the tube in the wrong side, well, that ends up bending on the opposite side. I'm gonna have Isaiah run you through all of the different measurements that he's taking into account, which it makes simple to just swap one. It's that simple. Let me show you what he's doing.
So I have a small little baby bend right here. You can see the dents from the bend right here. That's your first bend, so you have two different axes right here. So you have this one, yay. And you come over here, and it changed already.
Because the machine itself is not perfect, we have to measure the machine relative to the first bend to make sure the second bend is on the same layer. Yeah.
So you have this. This is going to bend obviously 90 to that. Upwards of 0.2. So you need to make sure this is at least.
Every day has been Judgment Day, but today, this is the judgment moment. And what we need to do is figure out the absolute maximum amount of space we're allowed to use with the radiator intercooler. I rendered it out in 3D on CAD, and that's where the radiator and intercooler designs came from. The real world is slightly different. We're gonna hook the bumper back up, or at least get it in the right spot, and then see what maximum space we can get. We don't want it to look bad. That means that the front of the intercooler does need to stick within the bumper.
So the end of that is 11.5.
Yeah, so it has to be 11 at most to get that curve in.
Yeah, about 8 inches.
It's a little small, don't you think?
I haven't been told that. It's about 8.
Nice. Make it look so sick. 6.5 inches at the bottom of this tube right here, as shown on that tape measure. And we need to get the bottom of the radiator down to approximately this height, which is 4 inches.
This is 3.5.
Yeah. This is going to come into play, creating like a fork effect. Looking good.
And then so if I bend more than this will pull it in.
That looks so cool. Tube bending is not a simple process. It requires a lot of mind bending. Mind bending. Tube bending is mind bending. We just worked very hard to make one piece. Now we can reproduce it because we're not just using rough approximates. We actually have,
Show them.
yeah, we have, let me show you. Not only did we have the side angle, the bottom angle, the total height that it has to drop, and then the width that it has to go, it's math. We have a 58-degree angle. We use some beautiful trig. Hopefully none of you guys skipped 10th grade. We figured out that the tube has to be at a basically 60-degree angle, and because this goes 2.5 down, 4 wide, your hypotenuse is 4.72, and that's the total length. Oddly enough, that's from the bottom to this, because that's center of tube to center of tube or bottom of tube to bottom of tube. So if you're somebody that's into chassis work, this sort of stuff might come across as simple to you because you've done it for a long time. We've seen other people fabricate and do, chassis work. This is how to do it without guesswork. The reason why is this whole piece, it's not the most expensive tube notcher. I just don't want Isaiah getting boned when he goes to use it twice in a row because he's, trying to take it in a little bit and this thing screws him because there is, it's not moving much, but it's just still not the most ideal setup. Ooh. I'm gonna show you guys real quick the difference between the proper made piece and the knockoff. And no, it has nothing to do with the splines. This is a 35 spline piece, and I think this is 30. This is for the front wheel on a base model Corvette, a C6, and this is the rear wheel of a ZR1. And the reason that matters so much is this is a $300 piece. This, I think, was 30. The funniest part about it is you can't tell really quickly, other than the machine face really shows a difference. This thing actually broke on a car that isn't running. All the bearings were all chewed up, and it's done nothing but sit. This one, of course, is known for its bearings. This is one of the times where the knockoff very clearly shows its face compared to the original.
And the guy she tells you not to worry about.
We've only notched them once. We're going to tack in the first couple pieces, and there you have the loop for the radiator and intercooler.
The first step.
Baby needs a nap. Your heart was in the right place.
I've been welding in all types of positions.
Dating a welder is like dating a gymnast.
Except we make more money.
Oh, that's so awesome. And even on the camera, it looks pretty square.
Oh
Parallel.
yeah, you could level on. Press fit. Wow, man. And that's all, folks. We're not welding this piece in, we have to clean it up, make it look billet, obviously. These are going to be the mounts for the radiator and intercooler. And then we're going to put these billet dimple dice in right there. So imagine this right there. This one's going to have its own, and this one's going to have its own bracket. Solid 2 is a rubber gasket that goes in there to hold it in place, and up top we'll have the mount that mounted down. So this thing is not going to go anywhere.
You're using my line there. Dude, I've been clean. I haven't been saying this shit for a long time.
I've been clean.
And you just start using it again right in front of me.